Most welcome to another game from the IBCA World Championship in 1986. And today it might be some background noises. I had some problems with the recording. So after the recording, the sound on the MP4 file was very weird. Now I tried with an external microphone and hope it works, although you might have hear some sound from my computer when I move the pieces or type commands during the recording. I hope it will not be too disturbing. We are back in 1986 and we are going for a game between Piotr Dukaczewski, who was a strong player already at that time, playing Sergey Krylov, who actually will be on the losing side in both this game, and he was already against Berlinski. And that is not really fair to Krylov, because he was a dominant player in IBCA for many years, and I will later on show some of his more spectacular wins. The thing that we see in this game is a new thing. Earlier, the Soviet players were more or less unchallenged. As well as they played draw against each other, they normally crushed more or less all opposition outside Soviet Union. But in the 1980s, some players, Dukaczewski, maybe the prime example, started to have good results against the Soviet and later Russian players, for example. Myself, I took a bit more of time, but let's say in 1980, I defeated the, at that time, reigning world champion, Vladimir Berlinski. And we had another player also from the UK, Graham Lilly, who had a spectacular way of playing. And I'm for sure I will show some of his games later on as well. So we have a tendency where actually there are more players from different countries coming up. And then, of course, we have a major change when the Soviet Union broke down in 1991. A lot of players who could not take part in World Championships and Olympiads because Soviet Union only had one team in the Olympiad and 3 players in the World Championships. Now there come a lot of strong players from Ukraine and other former Soviet republics. So for you who want to see the moves and also would like to see the timestamps of the video, just open the description, and to promote my work, spread it to people so that accessible chess can be more well known, and also the kind of content I try to make here as a kind of chess school also would be reaching out to more players. So hit the subscribe button, like the video and share it. Thank you for that. Now we go to the game. It is round 7 in the World Championship in Moscow 1986. Piotr Dukaczewski has the white pieces and kicks off by pawn to e4. Pawn to e4. And black plays pawn to Charlie 5. Pawn to Charlie 5. Dukaczewski at that time, and I would say he has always been a very skilled attacking player. He normally went for e4, and I think he was very happy to see the Sicilian defense from Krylov. Krylov normally played the Sicilian defense, but it gives the kind of play that Piotr Dukaczewski was so skilled at, and still is. White plays knight to foxtrot 3, knight to foxtrot 3, and black plays knight to Charlie 6, knight to Charlie 6. White goes for pawn to delta 4, pawn to delta 4, and thus we have the open Sicilian. black captures, Charlie takes delta 4, Charlie takes delta 4, and white plays knight takes delta 4, knight takes delta 4. And here we could have many different variations. Black could go for the Kalashnikov, which is echo 5, or to echo 5, or a cousin to the Kalashnikov, the Sveshnikov, which is very topical these days and has been for a long time. That is, white plays knight foxtrot 6, white defends knight Charlie 3, and then black goes for pawn to echo 5, for example. But there are other possibilities. Black can go for knight foxtrot 6, knight Charlie 3, and then play delta 6, for example, or go for an early golf 6. But Krylov often avoided the more topical lines and preferred to have a slower game in which his general chess understanding would come out on the winning side. So he played queen to bravo 6. Queen to bravo 6, and I wouldn't really recommend that move, actually. It is not losing or by any means, but it the queen stands on a bit awkward square. It has to retreat sooner or later to Charlie 7, and actually I would say that all in all it helps white to build up an attack. Of course, black then avoids a lot of theory, the sharper lines, but we can see that white in these games drums up a very serious attack on black already from early on in the game. White played knight to bravo 3, knight to bravo 3, and this is not a good position for the knight, but it was necessary because it was threatened on delta 4. You don't want to block the foxtrot pawn by playing knight to foxtrot 3, so the less evil would be the lesser evil is to play knight to bravo 3. You would of course have preferred to play bishop echo 3, but then the pawn on bravo 2 would have been without protection. The knight on bravo 3 is out of play a little bit here. All the squares that it can jump to are under black's control. Okay, except from delta 2. But so white hopes that later on he can get the knight into the game, and that we will actually see in this actual example. Black plays knight to foxtrot 6, knight to foxtrot 6, and white defends the echo 4 pawn by knight to Charlie 3, knight to Charlie 3. Black continues pawn to echo 6, pawn to echo 6. And here we can see the idea of playing bishop to bravo 4 can be a very tricky thing to meet, actually. If it comes there, the knight is pinned on Charlie 3. So white pushes pawn to alpha 3, pawn to alpha 3. And this pawn on alpha 3 is also many times useful because it tries to slow down black's future expansion on the queen side. We can foresee that black will play the b pawn, the bravo pawn, to bravo 5, and then later on to bravo 4, where now the pawn on alpha 3 then can capture it. If the pawn otherwise would go to bravo 4 without the pawn on alpha 3, then the knight on Charlie 3 would have to go to maybe a less favorable square than where it is. So pawn to alpha 3 is a multi-purpose move. Black plays pawn to alpha 6, pawn to alpha 6. Preparing for the future bravo 5, and black also understands that he has to retreat the queen to Charlie 7, and then it's good not to have to think of what happens if white jumps with the knight to bravo 5. Now that square is taken under black's control. White plays bishop to echo 3. bishop to echo 3, attacking the queen on Bravo 6, which now retreats queen to Charlie 7. Queen to Charlie 7. So one might say that now white has regained the tempi that he lost when had to play knight to Bravo 3. Black now also had to move the queen once more. Yeah, we can maybe anyway say that knight on Bravo 3 has worse position than the queen on Charlie 7. But anyway, white regained a bit of time here. White goes on for Foxtrot 4. Foxtrot 4. And this is a very good move. White now threatens pawn to echo 5, threatening the knight that then would have to retreat, probably to Golf 8 actually. So it is natural that blacks tries to take some control also of the echo 5 square by pushing pawn to delta 6. Pawn to delta 6. White expands furthermore. Pawn to Golf 4. Pawn to Golf 4. And that is not a shy move at all. It is uncompromising, but also very natural and not so risky as it might seem, because it opens the white king position a bit, but black has no pieces even remotely near to the, if one can say like remotely near. Yeah, there are not many pieces around the white king that could attack the white king. The pawn, of course, wants to go further, advance more to Golf 5, threatening the knight on Foxtrot 6. Then the plan would be to advance the hotel pawn, Hotel 4 and Hotel 5, and then, when possible, maybe push pawn to Golf 6, Golf 5 to Golf 6. And then we can see that white can be pretty quick in attacking the black king's position, even the pawn on Foxtrot 7. And if the pawn on Foxtrot 7 disappears, the pawn on Echo 6 will be loose. So black therefore goes for what I don't like, but he played pawn to Hotel 6. Pawn to Hotel 6. So this is a natural move. It actually stops Golf 5 because white doesn't want to play. Yeah, let's see, if white would anyway continue with Golf 5, black would capture, Hotel takes Golf 5, white would capture, Foxtrot takes Golf 5. But that would give up the control of Echo 5 completely. Then white could go on, black could play knight to Delta 7 and then plonk it on Echo 5. And that knight would be a very good defense piece, as well of it would control many squares, and it would be very difficult to get rid of the black knight, because there is also another one on Charlie 6 if white captures the first one on Echo 5. It will be replaced by the other horse. So it seems like Hotel 6 was a fantastic move, but in the long run it weakens the square Golf 6. So if white plays very energetically, he can continue with Hotel 4, maybe Rook to Golf 1, and then push Golf 5 and Golf 6. And that is very difficult for black to meet. So I would say that Hotel 6 is a slight inaccuracy. White went Bishop Golf 2. Bishop to Golf 2. And this is a good diagonal for the bishop, because it also takes up some kind of indirect control of Delta 5. We know that when one side attacks on the flank, the other side normally should launch a counterattack on the other flank or in the center. And then the bishop on Golf 2 is very well placed. Black now plays Rook to Bravo 8. Let's see here. No. Now I can 2 moves ahead. Rook Bravo 8, Rook Bravo 8. This is a bit slow and maybe tendentious. Maybe the Soviet players, Krylov among them, have been so used to having success in IBCA events that they play a little bit careless. This is a bit of laziness, playing Rook Bravo 8. Pawn to Bravo 5 immediately could actually have been played. It is not so dangerous that the bishop is on Golf 2 and the rook on Alpha 8. There are other pieces in between. And playing a rook to Bravo 8 in such a sharp position gives away valuable time. And now I would say that black's position already is very critical. White goes on, queen to Echo 2. Queen to Echo 2. This is a good move. I like it. Both it develops a piece, but also gives white the possibility of castling queenside or kingside. Black finally pushes pawn to Bravo 5. Pawn to Bravo 5. So now also black tries to do something active. White played Rook Delta 1. Rook to Delta 1, which I would consider a slight inaccuracy. Castles queenside was the way to go, and that would have given white a winning advantage, more than 1 pawn up at least. But this is not so easy to play as a human. You don't really want to put your king in front of the queen on Charlie 7 and the rook on Bravo 8 after black pushes pawn to Bravo 4, but also eye the white king's position. On the other hand, castling queenside gives white free hands to push very quickly on the king side, and that would be more important in the actual position. But thinking of it, it is a critical game in the World Championship, and it is not easy when you don't have a chess engine to help you. Rook Delta 1 then comes as a very human decision. White develops a piece, now restricts himself to having to castle kingside, which actually decreases the advantage a bit, but it is a very natural position out of the situation. Black played pawn to Bravo 4, pawn to Bravo 4. And white captures. Alpha takes Bravo 4. Alpha takes Bravo 4. Black plays knight takes Bravo 4. Knight takes Bravo 4. And white castled. Castles kingside. Castles kingside. Now white's development is completed, and we can see that black still has an undeveloped bishop on Foxtrot 8, another one on Charlie 8, a rook on Hotel 8. The king is still in the center. And it is this that actually determines the evaluation that black is clearly better. No, not clearly, but slightly better. But for black to keep it just slightly better, it takes a lot of chess understanding. The only way for black to retain the balance by being just slightly worse would be to push pawn to Echo 5 here. Pawn to Echo 5. Because black has to play for controlling Delta 4, so that white can't even throw in the knight from Bravo 3 back to the center, taking part in the attack. If white can add yet another piece, it would be too much. Pawn to Echo 5 it would allow bishop to Echo 6 in the future, with threats against the knight on Bravo 3. For example, black can take on Charlie 2 with the knight on Bravo 4, and after white takes it, then the bishop could take on Bravo 3. So bishop to Echo 6 would actually then mean that black has developed one of the sleeping beauties in the black's position. One could say that, okay, if black plays echo 5, white can push foxtrot 5. But this would decrease, or actually give up the pressure on echo 5, so that black, maybe even immediately, but even after some preparation, could push pawn to delta 5 and start active counterplay. So echo 5 was the move asked for, but it is natural that you don't want to push the pawn in front of your king when you have so many pieces undeveloped and your king still in the center. So black played the natural but weak move, bishop to echo 7. Bishop echo 7. There is not much time for this move now, because now white plays knight delta 4. Knight to delta 4. And we see that this knight that in move 5 had to retreat from delta 4 to bravo 3 now is back in business. Now it is difficult for black to defend against a lot of different threats. For example, pawn to hotel 4 followed by golf 5 and maybe golf 6. It might even be possible to push golf 5 directly if one can continue with golf 6, so that black can't really peacefully plonk a knight on echo 5. But I think that hotel 4, golf 5 would be very natural ways for white to continue the attack. If black would castle kingside, the white pawn stone would be very tough to meet also. So black now pushes in the center, pawn to echo 5, pawn to echo 5. But the difference now is that knight is not locked out standing on bravo 3, but now it jumps to foxtrot 5. Knight to foxtrot 5. A very strong position for the knight, so black has to capture it. Bishop takes foxtrot 5. Bishop takes foxtrot 5. And white captures. Echo takes foxtrot 5. Echo takes foxtrot 5. So now white has advanced the echo pawn, so it is also taking part in the pawn storm. Yeah, black here, put the timestamp here. So black continues, echo takes foxtrot 4, echo takes foxtrot 4. And white continues, rook takes foxtrot 4. Rook takes foxtrot 4. Bishop takes foxtrot 4 was also a good option, but the rook is also useful on the 4th rank, because it also keeps an eye on the knight on bravo 4, and we will see that this will have a decisive effect in the game. Black castles kingside. Castles kingside, not into safety, but into fire, but the option of just remaining on the echo file was not something to take very seriously either. White launches the attack, hotel 4. Hotel 4, as expected, all since some moves back. So now golf 5 is a very serious move. So black has desperately to try to activate his pieces. He plays pawn to delta 5. Pawn to delta 5. Yeah, at least the black queen now is eyeing the white king side a little bit, and the bishop from echo 7 can be activated. But white is much farther advanced in his attack, playing pawn to golf 5. pawn to golf 5. And capturing on golf 5, both for white and black, or the hotel pawns capture on golf 5, would just mean that white would have an extra open file against the black king. Then white could play rook to hotel 4, and as the knight on foxtrot 6 would be threatened by the pawn on golf 5, it has to go to somewhere, and then white's queen could get jump off up to hotel 5 with decisive threats. So instead, Krylov goes for desperate counterplay, just retreating the knight from foxtrot 6 now. Yeah, for example, it would hang the pawn on delta 5, but white could also just continue pushing foxtrot 6. Even the exchange sack, rook takes bravo 4, followed by knight takes delta 5, if had the knight retreated from foxtrot 6, it would also be very tempting option for white. White has so many very promising continuations here. So black plays bishop to Charlie 5. Bishop to Charlie 5. And white captures, golf takes foxtrot 6. Golf takes foxtrot 6. Now black could have captured queen takes foxtrot 4, because the bishop no longer defends foxtrot 4 because it is pinned from Charlie 5. But if that would have happened, white could just have continued bishop takes Charlie 5, still being material up. So instead, black goes for rook foxtrot echo 8. Rook foxtrot echo 8. So now pinning the bishop on echo 3. But white has the more serious threats against black's king. So white can just play queen golf 4. Very strong move. Queen to golf 4, getting out of the pin on the echo 5, protecting the rook on foxtrot 4. But most important, threatening queen takes golf 7 checkmate. Black, however, temporarily regains the piece, playing bishop takes echo 3 check. Bishop takes echo 3. White taps his king into the corner. King to hotel 1. Very safe place, especially on a white square, and you are the only one who has a light square bishop, so the king is perfectly safe here. Now, black has to do something about the threat. Queen takes golf 7, so he pushes pawn to golf 6. Pawn to golf 6. And if you were a chess engine, then you would have continued here, playing foxtrot takes golf 6, knowing that you will win in, let's say 15 forced moves or something like this. But it would take that you also sacrifice the rook on foxtrot 4. So why takes those risks when you can play a more calm move that also wins easily? Rook takes bravo 4. Rook takes bravo 4. 25. And here we saw the thing that I mentioned earlier, that the rook on foxtrot 4 had put some pressure on the knight on bravo 4. So now white is up a piece again. Black played rook takes bravo 4, and white recaptured queen takes bravo 4. Queen takes bravo 4. Now black could have resigned, but it's not easy to resign. He instead played pawn to delta 4. Pawn to delta 4, attacking the knight on Charlie 3, that gladly jumps into delta 5. Knight to delta 5. Give me a kingdom for that horse. Black plays queen takes Charlie 2. Queen takes Charlie 2, at least a pawn, and threatens the rook on delta 1, but it goes to foxtrot 1. Rook to foxtrot 1. And it takes part in the attack also, and is also on a safe square, as it is also protected by the bishop on golf 2. it's always a good instinct to put your pieces on squares where they are well defended. Black played Golf takes Foxtrot 5. Golf takes Foxtrot 5. And White continued Knight Echo 7 check. Knight to Echo 7 check. Black continued King to Hotel 8. King to Hotel 8. And now White's plan is very simple, but also very difficult to do something about. He wants to play to transfer the queen from Bravo 4 over to the G Golf file, because if it reaches, for example, Golf 3, Black can not defend against the threat on Queen Golf 7 checkmate, because Rook Golf 8 would simply be captured. So White played Queen Delta 6. Queen to Delta 6. And now White threatens Queen to Golf 3. Queen to Golf 3. But yeah, okay. Black could, if he really wanted to continue the struggle, played Pawn to Foxtrot 4, for example. But no, let's see. No, the Rook on Bravo 8 is also attacked here. So that is also another nuance. The Queen actually attacks Bravo 8. So it's not much Black can do about it. Black plays Queen takes Bravo 2. Queen takes Bravo 2. That at least defends the Rook on Bravo 8. Yeah, you wouldn't like to play Rook takes Bravo 2 instead, because then the 8 rank would be undefended. So then it would be Queen Delta 8 check, and then Queen Golf 8 would follow with checkmate. But now it instead follows Queen to Golf 3. Queen to Golf 3. And here Black wisely resigned. So nothing to do. Yeah, you can sacrifice another piece, Bishop Golf 5, putting it in front of the Queen so it can't reach to Golf 7 immediately. But yeah, White just captures. Hotel takes Golf 5, and the attack continues. And being 2 pieces up in addition. So a very good game from White's side. I also think that the problems Krylov faced in this tournament in the long run made him a bit stronger, because he had to sharpen his games a bit. Competition is always favoring the development of chess. And we can see in the future that Krylov moved up to a level that he might not have reached had it not been for the new competition from more players, not only from Soviet Union, but from Europe in general. And yeah, at that time, it was more or less Europe where IBCA chess, strong chess took place. And yeah, parts of the Soviet Union, that was also parts of Asia, of course. But most players that came from Soviet Union and took part in the World Championship and the Olympiads were from Russia. So I hope that you enjoyed the game. That is both a fantastic example of White successfully crushing Black in play against the Sicilian defense, but also a historic event that shows a tendency that became stronger with more competition, more skilled players coming from many different countries, especially after the Soviet Union was split into its 16 republics. Thank you for watching.